Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time we're diving into Life's a Mess, Finding Your Smile When Schwat Hits the Fan. And yeah, I know the title might sound a little daunting,
Oh, yeah.
but this book, it's all about practical strategies, inspiring stories to help us stay positive. You know when things get tough.
Like a toolbox for your mind.
Exactly.
We're going to unlock it together.
Love that. And what's so interesting is that it starts with a story about a blacksmith in Atlantis named Arian.
Yeah. And you wouldn't think that a guy surrounded by paradise would be miserable.
Right.
But he is. He sees his forge as a prison, not a place of creation.
Oh, wow. So he's surrounded by all this beauty and opportunity, but can't see it.
Totally stuck.
Yeah.
So what happens?
So he meets a mentor who teaches him to find pride in his work, to see the forge not as a prison, but as a place where he can create, contribute, make something beautiful and useful.
I love that. And this is where it gets really powerful. Arian's transformation reminds us that even when we feel stuck, like we're surrounded by the pressures of modern life, we can choose how we see our situation.
Yeah.
Just like Arian, we can view our daily challenges as a prison or an opportunity to master our craft and find meaning in our work.
Oh, that's so good. It's like shifting your perspective from feeling trapped to feeling empowered. But with all the information overload and social media and just general anxieties of the world, how do we actually make that shift?
That's where understanding how media shapes our mindset comes in.
Okay.
Think about the stories we consume, the news we read, even those perfectly curated social media feeds. It all impacts how we view the world and ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
And the book highlights both the positive and negative sides of this.
Okay.
On one hand, you have stories like Ngozi, the Nigerian reporter who chooses to focus on resilience and hope amidst the challenges of Lagos.
Wow.
Her work shows how powerful positive storytelling can be.
It's like choosing to focus on the light even when surrounded by darkness.
Yes. But then you have the flip side, those curated social media feeds that often leave us feeling inadequate, like we're not enough.
Yeah, totally.
And that's where the book brings in the story of Li Wei, the manager in 1990s Shanghai, who gets so caught up in the digital world it almost destroys her marriage.
Oh, wow.
It's a cautionary tale about the need for a digital detox.
Okay, so digital detox, what does that even mean?
It's about intentionally disconnecting from technology, putting down your phone, stepping away from the computer, and reconnecting with yourself and the real world around you.
Oh, I like that.
It's about setting boundaries with technology so it doesn't consume your life.
So we've talked about the stories we consume, but what about the stories we tell ourselves? I know the book dives into the science of positivity, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this is where it gets fascinating.
Okay.
The book delves into this concept called cognitive appraisal, which essentially means the way we interpret our experiences shapes our reality.
Okay.
It's not just about what happens to us, it's about how we choose to view it. For example, imagine you're stuck in traffic.
Ugh, the worst.
Do you see it as wasted time? Or a chance to relax and listen to this podcast?
Well played.
Your interpretation impacts your mood, your stress level, and ultimately your experience of that situation.
So it's like choosing to see the glass half full,
Yeah,
even when it feels like it's half empty.
exactly.
But does this actually have a real impact on our lives? Or is it just positive thinking mumbo-jumbo?
Well, the book backs this up with actual research, highlighting the connection between positive thinking and increased resilience.
Okay.
Studies have shown that people who cultivate a positive mindset tend to experience lower levels of anxiety and depression. They're also better equipped to bounce back from setbacks and challenges.
Wow, that's huge.
And it's not just about mental health.
Right.
A positive outlook can actually benefit your physical health, too.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Well, when you're stressed or negative, your body releases hormones like cortisol. That can, over time, suppress your immune system, raise your blood pressure, and basically make you more susceptible to illness.
Oh, wow. So it's like a downward spiral.
Right.
Stress creates more stress.
It does.
Okay.
On the other hand, positive emotions release endorphins, which have the opposite effect. They boost your immune system, lower your stress hormones, and even help reduce pain.
So it's like having an internal pharmacy
Exactly.
that you can tap into with your thoughts.
It is.
I love that. So it's not just about feeling good, it's about being healthy. Now, we can't talk about positivity without mentioning one of the biggest champions of positive thinking, Muhammad Ali.
Absolutely.
That man radiated confidence.
Yes, he did. And the book dives into how Ali's famous quote, "I am the greatest," wasn't just a boast.
Right.
It was a deliberate use of positive self-talk to shape his reality. a technique that aligns perfectly with the psychological principle of self-fulfilling prophecies.
Okay.
What we believe about ourselves and our abilities can actually influence our outcomes.
So he was basically speaking his success into existence.
In a way, yes. And the book uses his victory in the Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman as a prime example. Ali's mental resilience, his unwavering belief in himself, was a key factor in his victory.
Mhm.
He didn't just win the fight physically, he won it mentally first.
That's incredible. But it wasn't just in the boxing ring that Ali's positivity shined. Even after his Parkinson's diagnosis, he refused to be defined by his illness. He continued to inspire millions with his courage, his optimism, and his unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit. It's like the book says his life was a testament to the power of our thoughts in shaping our reality.
Powerful example of choosing positivity.
Hmm.
But the book doesn't shy away from the fact that negativity exists. In fact, there's a whole section dedicated to identifying and overcoming those negative influences that can hold us back.
Okay.
And they start with a story about Finn, a boxer from Dublin, who's struggling to reach his full potential.
So what's holding Finn back? Is he just not talented enough?
He's got the talent, but he's surrounded by negativity. He's got people in his life who doubt him, situations that drain his energy, and he's even started to believe their negativity.
Oh, wow.
It's a reminder that sometimes the biggest obstacles we face aren't external, they're internal.
Right.
It's the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs, and the fear of failure that we allow to take root in our minds.
It's like we become our own worst enemies, so how do we fight back against that inner critic?
That's where the book gets into the nitty-gritty of building a positive mindset. And it's packed with practical tools and strategies that we can all use.
Oh, good.
It's not just about thinking happy thoughts. It's about actively rewiring our brains for positivity.
Okay, I'm ready.
One of the most powerful tools the book introduces is mindfulness.
Mindfulness. That's a word we hear a lot these days. What does it actually mean, like, in this context?
It's about bringing your attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about noticing your thoughts and feelings without getting swept away by them.
Okay.
And the book encourages you to actually try a short breathing exercise right then and there.
Oh.
It's like a mini meditation to help you reconnect with your breath, your body, in the present moment.
It's like hitting the pause button on all the mental chatter. I love that the book gives you these practical exercises to try out.
Yeah, and they also delve into the power of gratitude.
Okay.
They suggest keeping a gratitude journal to shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, no matter how small. Because even on the toughest days, there's always something to be grateful for. A warm cup of coffee, a beautiful sunset, a kind word from a friend.
It's about training yourself to notice those little sparks of joy, right?
Exactly. And then there are affirmations.
Okay.
These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself, kind of like rewiring your brain for positivity. You're replacing those negative self-defeating thoughts with empowering beliefs.
So, like, instead of saying, I'm not good enough, you'd say, I am capable and worthy.
Exactly. And the book uses Oprah Winfrey's incredible journey as a prime example of how affirmations, combined with a deep commitment to positivity, can literally shape your reality.
Right.
Oprah faced countless challenges and setbacks, but her unwavering belief in herself and her vision helped her overcome them and achieve extraordinary success.
Oprah's story is incredibly inspiring. But let's shift gears for a bit and talk about resilience. We've all faced setbacks, those moments when life throws a punch and knocks us down. How do we get back up? How do we develop that inner strength to bounce back?
The book uses the story of Barak, a scribe in ancient Babylon, to illustrate the power of resilience.
Okay.
Barak experiences a series of misfortunes, losing his job, his home, and even facing ridicule from those around him.
Oh, wow.
But instead of giving up, he chooses to reframe his experiences, seeing them not as failures, but as opportunities for growth.
So instead of seeing himself as a victim, he chooses to see himself as a student.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that Barak's story isn't just an ancient tale. It's a timeless lesson in resilience that's just as relevant today. We all face setbacks, challenges, and disappointments. It's how we choose to respond that makes all the difference. Do we let those setbacks define us? Or do we use them as fuel to grow stronger?
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually live it. How do we put this idea of resilience into practice?
The book digs into this, explaining that building resilience is a process. It's about developing specific skills and habits that help us navigate challenges more effectively. It's about learning to manage stress, to reframe negative thoughts, and to cultivate a sense of self-efficacy, that the belief in our ability to overcome obstacles.
So it's not just about being tough, it's about having a toolkit of strategies to help us cope with those tough times. What are some of the key strategies the book recommends for building resilience?
One of the most important strategies is learning to reframe negative experiences. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, we can choose to view them as opportunities for learning and growth. What went wrong? What can I learn from this? How can I do better next time?
It's like turning those setbacks into stepping stones instead of roadblocks.
Exactly.
I like that.
Another key strategy is self-care.
Oh, what?
When we're stressed, overwhelmed, or going through a tough time, it's easy to neglect our own needs. But self-care isn't selfish, it's essential.
Hmm,
It's about refueling our minds and bodies so we have the energy and resilience to face those challenges.
right.
The book uses the example of Pelops, a Spartan winemaker who pushes himself to the point of burnout, neglecting his own well-being in the pursuit of success.
So Pelops is a classic workaholic, sacrificing his health and happiness for the sake of his business.
He is, but he eventually learns the hard way that neglecting self-care leads to diminishing returns. He rediscovers the importance of rejuvenation through simple rituals, like spending time in nature, enjoying good food and wine, and connecting with loved ones.
Ah, that's nice.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most effective way to be productive is to take a break, to recharge, and to prioritize those activities that bring us joy and restore our energy.
It's about finding that balance between pushing ourselves and giving ourselves permission to rest and recharge.
And the book emphasizes that self-care isn't just about bubble baths and spa days. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports our well-being. It's about setting boundaries, prioritizing sleep, eating nourishing foods, and engaging in activities that bring us joy and reduce stress.
It's about making choices that support our physical, mental, and emotional health. It's about being kind to ourselves.
And speaking of kindness, the book dedicates a whole section to the power of positive relationships and social support.
Okay.
We can't do it alone, right? We all need those people in our lives who lift us up, who believe in us, and who are there for us through thick and thin.
Our own personal cheer squad.
Exactly.
I love that.
And they use the story of Dr. Adrian Chen, a brilliant but arrogant surgeon, to illustrate how crucial these relationships are.
Okay.
Chen is so focused on his own success that he neglects his relationships with his colleagues, his patients, and even his family. He's technically gifted, but he lacks basic social skills.
Mhm.
And it eventually leads to his downfall.
So he's got all the brains, but none of the heart. What happens to him?
He ends up losing his job, alienating his loved ones, and hitting rock bottom. It's only when he learns to connect with others on a genuine level, to practice empathy, and to cultivate humility, that he's able to rebuild his career and his relationships.
It's a reminder that success isn't just about individual achievement. It's about collaboration, connection, and building strong, supportive relationships.
And the book dives deeper into what makes those relationships thrive. They emphasize the importance of effective communication, active listening, emotional validation, and conflict resolution skills.
Oh.
It's about learning to communicate our needs clearly and respectfully, to listen with empathy, and to navigate disagreements constructively.
It's about building bridges instead of walls.
And they use the incredible story of Helen Keller and her teacher, Anne Sullivan Macy, to illustrate the transformative power of positive relationships. Helen Keller, as you know, was deaf and blind, and she faced unimaginable challenges.
Wow.
But Anne Sullivan's unwavering belief in Helen, her patience, and her creative teaching methods enabled Helen to overcome those obstacles and achieve extraordinary things.
It's a testament to the power of love, compassion, and the belief in another person's potential.
Absolutely. But let's be real. In today's world, relationships aren't just limited to those face-to-face interactions. We have this whole digital landscape to navigate as well.
Social media, texting, online dating, it's a whole new world of connection and complexity.
Exactly. And the book dives into the challenges and opportunities of navigating social media and the digital world, starting with the story of Li Wei, the manager we talked about earlier, who gets so consumed by the digital world that it almost destroys her marriage.
Right. She gets sucked into that vortex of comparison traps and the constant pressure to be connected.
Exactly. And the book uses Li Wei's story to remind us that we have the power to choose how we engage with technology. It's about being mindful of the content we consume, the
Yep.
time we spend online, and the impact that has on our mental and emotional well-being.
So it's not about avoiding technology altogether. It's about using it intentionally and setting healthy boundaries.
And they offer practical tips for doing just that. They talk about scheduling digital detoxes, setting limits on social media use, and prioritizing real-life connections over online interactions. They even suggest creating tech-free zones in your home where you can unplug and recharge.
It's like creating those sacred spaces where you can just be present with yourself and your loved ones without the distractions of the digital world.
And they also emphasize the importance of authenticity in our online interactions. It's easy to get caught up in presenting a perfect image on social media, but it's often those raw, vulnerable moments that truly connect us with others.
It's about being real, being relatable, and sharing our stories, even the messy ones.
And they use the example of Selena Gomez, who despite having millions of followers and a seemingly perfect life, has been open about her struggles with mental health, using her platform to advocate for self-care and to break down the stigma surrounding mental illness.
Selena's vulnerability and honesty is so inspiring. It's a reminder that we're all human, that we all have struggles, and that it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
Absolutely. And speaking of finding meaning and purpose in our lives, the book delves into this deeper question of why are we here? What is our purpose? What gives our lives meaning?
These are big questions. Where do they even begin to answer them?
They start with the story of Claudia, a successful dancer in Pompeii.
Pompeii. That's fascinating. What's her story?
Well, Claudia has achieved great success, fame, wealth, talent, but she feels this emptiness despite her achievements.
It's like she's reached the top of the mountain but still feels lost.
Exactly. It's not until she starts using her talents to benefit her community that she finds true purpose and meaning.
Oh, wow.
She begins teaching dance to children, using her art to bring joy and inspiration to others. And suddenly, her life has this new sense of direction.
It's like her success becomes more meaningful when it's tied to something bigger than herself.
That's a great way to put it. And the book emphasizes that Claudia's story is not unique. Many people achieve external success without finding that internal sense of fulfillment. It's about aligning our actions with our values, finding something that gives our lives meaning beyond just personal gain.
So how do we actually do that? How do we find that sense of purpose?
The book offers several practical suggestions. They talk about the importance of identifying your values, what's important to you, what do you care about, what kind of impact you want to make on the world. Once you have a clear understanding of your values, you can start setting goals that align with those values.
That's about figuring out what makes you tick and then using that as a compass to guide your choices.
Exactly. They also highlight the importance of personal growth and lifelong learning. The more we learn, the more we expand our skills and knowledge, the more opportunities open up for us to contribute and make a difference.
It's like we're constantly evolving, becoming more well-rounded and capable individuals.
And they use the incredible story of Viktor Frankl to illustrate this point. Frankl, as you may know, was a psychiatrist who survived the horrors of the Holocaust. In the midst of unimaginable suffering, he discovered that even in the darkest of times, we have the power to choose our attitude, to find meaning and purpose.
That's an incredibly powerful story. It shows that even when we're faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, we still have the power to choose how we respond.
Exactly. Frankl's experience proves that our mindset, our beliefs, and our values can sustain us even in the most difficult of circumstances. And he went on to develop a form of therapy called logotherapy, which focuses on helping people find meaning in their lives.
It's like he turned his pain into purpose.
He did. And his story serves as a powerful reminder that even when life throws its worst, we can choose to focus on what gives our lives meaning. But let's bring this back to everyday life. We've talked about mindfulness, gratitude, affirmations, resilience, relationships. It's a lot to take in. How do we actually incorporate these ideas into our daily lives?
Right. It's one thing to read about these concepts, it's another to actually put them into practice. The book wouldn't be very helpful if it just left us with a bunch of theories.
You're absolutely right. And that's why they dedicate a whole section to creating daily habits for lasting positivity. They emphasize the importance of establishing routines that support our well-being. Things like prioritizing sleep, eating nourishing foods, and making time for exercise.
The basics. But sometimes it's easy to forget those basics when we're caught up in the hustle and bustle of life.
It's true, but the book emphasizes that these basic habits are the foundation of a positive and resilient mindset. They provide the energy and the mental clarity we need to navigate challenges effectively. They also talk about the importance of self-compassion. We tend to be our own worst critics, but the book encourages us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer to a friend.
It's like giving ourselves permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn from them.
And they use the example of Keanu Reeves, who, despite his fame and fortune, is known for his humility, his kindness, and his down-to-earth approach to life.
Keanu Reeves, everyone loves him. He's like the internet's boyfriend.
He is. And he's a great example of someone who practices daily acts of kindness and mindfulness. It's a reminder that positivity isn't just about grand gestures. It's about those small, everyday actions that make a difference.
So it's about those little things like smiling at a stranger, holding the door open for someone, or simply taking a few minutes to appreciate the beauty around us.
And the book emphasizes that these small acts of kindness, when practiced consistently, can have a ripple effect, creating a more positive and compassionate world.
It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this deep dive into Life's a Mess, I want to emphasize that this book is more than just a self-help guide. It's a reminder that we all have the power to choose positivity, to cultivate resilience, and to make a difference in the world around us.
It's been an incredible journey exploring these ideas, and I feel like I've gained so many valuable insights.
Me too.
What are your final takeaways from all this?
For me, it's the reminder that positivity is a choice. It's not about denying the negative. It's about choosing how we respond to it. It's about finding those glimmers of hope, those moments of strength, and using them to fuel our journey.
I completely agree. And I love how this book gives us the tools to actually do that. It's not just feel-good fluff, it's practical, actionable advice that we can implement in our daily lives. I hope you feel empowered to do the same. Remember, positivity is contagious. When you choose positivity, you inspire others to do the same. So go out there and spread those good vibes. The world needs your light.